Okay, so let's take another look here at a new client plan. We've done a purchase, a refinance, a sample renter purchasing, and I want to show you one of the type of plan that you may have access to, and it relates to our flyers. So if I were to select here open house flyer, you'll notice below that everything just changed. So I've got open house flyer or seller buy down are two flyer types that I have available. When I click open house flyer, I have property flyer, finance flyer, light, and finance flyer full. So these are three different types of open house flyers that I might want to generate. So I'm going to click on just property flyer initially, and we'll go through and look at each of these and see how they're for. And let's just say this is offered for this is your sales price, $300,000. All right, and the property address is 123 Easy Street, and that's Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27514, right? And we'll say the qualifying ratio for this is going to be 35%. Okay? So I want to definitely select a referral partner from my open house flyer, so I'll just click sample realtor here. And what I want to do just for this particular flyer is I'm going to hit the pause button. I'm going to go ahead and edit this realtor. I'm going to put in some more information so you can see how the partner information flows into the open house flyer. But I won't make you sit here and watch that. I'll just go through and fill it out, and we'll start right back up. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've filled out all their information. Many of the new state laws require that the realtor's license number be on any open house flyers, as well as their name, that there must be a phone number and contact information. And I've just uploaded a photo for the realtor and also uploaded their company logo. So I'll click the Save box. And you'll notice what just happened. This now populates with all that information. So I can go through and add another realtor. I can edit this. I can delete. I can even invite a realtor to become part of my network right from the referral partner screen. So if I click that invite button for a realtor after I set them up, it will send an email to them so that they can access the software and be able to work with me and collaborate on different open house flyers and plans and things like that. So for the time being, what we want to do is just simply say, I want to expand this. If I collapse this, the open house flyer will be assigned to this realtor, but it will not provide any co-branding with this realtor. If I leave it expanded, remember it's always what you see is what you get, then on the open house flyer, that information will show up. So I'm going to leave it expanded like it is for right now. And I go through, and you'll notice the information. So this stuff is content sensitive. It's telling me these are the things I can put in here. It's a 4,000 square foot house, MLS listing ID. I can put in an address like http mlslisting.com / and that way there's a link that will show up where they can go in there and actually see the property. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It's a single family home. It has a 2 car or more garage. It is 2 or more stories. And then I just simply go through and check. And this builds out the actual report with all of the information that I choose to feature. I can also have some custom things like a backyard workshop. And these will show up as well. There's a disclaimer here that you can edit and change if you want any additional information. And it says My Notes does not show on flyer and partner notes. So maybe the partner tells me this is in a historic district, and I just want to kind of keep that in the back of my mind because I know about some tax credits or something. I might want to put that in here. Now notice you can also upload a property photo. So if I click to upload a property photo, if I have a photo of that particular property, I can put it in. Let me see if I've got a house photo here in all of my different graphics. I think I might. Hit the pause button. Well, let's see. And I'll just use this for the time being. All right, and I click Save. So this is going to go through and load up that photo, and it's going to crop it, organize it hopefully. It's a pretty big file, so we'll see if it does a good job. And then it's going to give us a preview of that afterwards. You'll also notice below here that there will be some additional information that we're putting in here as far as school districts and other information. So this is the basics. I've kind of set up my flyer. Now remember, this is the property flyer, and this has a more in-depth property information and a little less financing information. So when I go to the borrow screen, I'll have my normal capabilities to put in the different liabilities that I want to show for this particular property. So I would tend to want to just show some alternatives. And this is a purchase, so I'll say 30-year fixed is what I want to call this first one. And so I'll go over here and I've got 30-year fixed. Remember the property value is right there, 30-year fixed. Let's just assume 80% as a down payment and $240, and I'll put an interest rate of 4%. And maybe I want to put in taxes and insurance for this. I got 1.25. The realtor might tell me, oh, it's 325, and property tax is 75, and I don't have any MI, so I like this. There's no association dues. It's 80%. So I click Save. So watch how fast this is. All I need to do is click Duplicate, and it's going to bring all this down. And now I want to do a 10-year ARM, and I'm going to select a 10-year ARM instead of the 30-year fixed, and that's 3.5%, and that looks good. And then I just want to go ahead and do one more. And it's going to duplicate, so it's already brought down all my taxes and other information. I don't have to put that in again. So I'm going to do the same thing, duplicate. That's going to bring everything down all the way through, and all I have to do is click. I want to show a 5-year ARM, and that's a 2.75. And again, everything looks good. That's one click, and everything was brought in here. I got the rate, I got the payment adjustment, I've got all my taxes, insurance. It's all there, and it looks good. And I'm really done. I can go in here and put in an estimate of closing costs. Say I want to put in a 1% origination fee, and I also want to, and these would be already in there if I had them in my defaults. So I've got $4,900 in closing costs, plus the down payment that's going to be needed to actually make this close. They're going to need $64,900. That's what they're going to need in total, right? Because they're going to need $60,000 for the down payment. I can see the payment differences, how much this is going to save a month, and I can even show the wealth impact. I can pick a target time frame if I want. Some of this will flow through in the report, some of it won't, depending on which report that you select. But I like to go ahead and take a look at it and kind of have it set up here so I know what I'm looking at in terms of the financial impact. And what I'm going to show you is you have the ability, once that client calls in and they're interested, you'll be able to take this open house flyer and convert it into a custom plan for that client with just a few clicks. So I'm all set and I'm ready to go. So I go to the present page, and now you'll notice the only option here is to present as an open house flyer. So I click that I want to present as a flyer, and it's going to go through just like it normally does, and it's going to build that open house flyer, and here we go. It's got the property picture, it's got all the information I put on the flyer, and it's got a very simplified interface for the finances. We've found, believe it or not, that realtors really like this simple interface. Now some realtors have their own open house flyer software, and they're going to build their own open house flyer, and they really want you just for the finance information. And that's where I'll show you. We'll pick a different flyer, and you can see how they look differently. But in this scenario, you've got really the basic 3 questions. What do I need to bring to closing? What's my monthly payment going to be? And about what would I need to qualify? So with alternative 3, I forgot to change the title to 5-year ARM. You can see 30-year fixed, 10-year ARM. This would be 5-year ARM. And I can see the critical information, and here's all of our custom branding together. Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to go back to the Manage tab here, and I'm not going to change anything except I'm going to change this to Property Finance Flyer Light. And I can look down below, and you'll notice that all that property information went away. Now it's never lost. We never delete information that you input. If I go back to Property Finance Flyer, all my information is there. All this is doing is changing the look and feel of it. So with Property Flyer Light, we're saying we're really not going to put much property information in there. I'm not going to change anything on the borrow screen. These are the 3 scenarios that I want to use. But I'm going to go to the Present tab and build the flyer, and let's look at what happens this time. So we'll say Open Up. And you'll notice it's a different flyer. This flyer has just the finance options 4, and it has an offered 4. And this was our original sort of flyer format where it has the loan term, purchase price, down payment, loan amount, interest rate, a breakout of the payment, the total payment, and the income to qualify. So this is very similar to the last one, except it has a more detailed breakout of the property payment, and it has less property information. We call that Finance Light. Now let me show you the most popular one that was recently built. Is called Finance Full. And again, you'll see that there's no additional property information that's going to be added here. Sorry, I was getting a permissions thing from Norton. Resume that. I hit the refresh. You'll notice some of that information I was talking about. It's actually pulling from the zip code and pulling in home values and sales and other information like schools and stuff we're going to be adding in here. But again, I click the full finance flyer. I'm not going to change anything on the borrow tab. So let me just go right over to the present tab and click build as a flyer. And I'll tell it to go ahead and open that up. And this is our newest flyer that, and these are just different ways to present the same information. So right now, as of this video, there are 3 different open house flyers that you can build. And again, that can have just your information on it, or it can have your information and the partners. So this is the new format, and it meets the new compliance for what they call proximity rules, which is your disclaimers need to be in close proximity to where they're located. So we've got the property offered for. Here are all your dynamic disclosures up top. Here's your branding below. And this goes through and gives you a lot of detail. Now this is my favorite finance flyer because it'll show a first and second mortgage if you do a HELOC or second. It shows all of the possible information that someone might like to know. Again, depending on your style and the realtor you're working with, some really like just the simple information with just those 3 questions. What's the payment look like? What do I need to qualify? Other people like this more in-depth flyer with a much greater level of detail. So hopefully this helps you think a little bit about the power and capability of the flyers. The third option is a seller buy-down flyer, and if I were to click seller buy-down flyer, what that allows you to do is go through and compare. You put in your property information and if there's a partner, and then on the borrow tab you can go through and compare different buy-down options. And this is a really cool flyer because it allows you to show, say, a purchase price of $300,000 or whatever. So what I'll do in the next video is I'll take you through just the seller buy down and show you how it might make more sense for a client to buy down an interest rate as opposed to having the seller lower the actual property value. And then that will conclude our types of plans, and that will have taken you through the review, the refi purchase, second home, rent, open house, and seller buy down. Again, most any of these will work, but whenever possible, pick the one that's most close to what you're doing, and it's going to give you just that little bit of extra control in terms of the logic that we've built into the process. So in our next video, we'll cover the seller buy down flyer.